Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sentinel Sports Extra Guardians Weekly Report. No analytics here. So today we're going to review the last week for the Cleveland Guardians. I have to admit I was correct. The record I predicted for this week. I said 4-3, and I was right. It's the first time this year I've been right. So I'm happy because it was a week over 500, and I was right about it. So, but let's get first. This show is brought to you by CT Roofing and Power Wash, the official power washer and roofer of the Lake County Sentinel. They can help you get an estimate on your roof or siding. They can work with insurance companies to help you file a claim. They can also power wash your deck, your house, your drive, your stairs. And help with decks, painting, rebuild, and power wash them. So that's CT Roofing and Power Wash. Call them today at 440-278-0506. So the Guards are currently 13-10 and in first place in the American League Central. They are a half game up on the Tigers. The Guardians' run differential is now at 0. At least it's not a minus. It's at 0. I'm glad to report that the bullpen the last couple of days has been better than it was on Friday night, but we'll get to that later. I've got some observations here. Slade Ciccone is way too inconsistent for me. The bullpen is a concern right now, including Cade Smith. I did not check after today's game, but last night the bullpen ERA was 5.55. And I believe they were 28th in baseball. So that's not good. You have to fix that bullpen ERA, and they know that. Carl Willis knows it. Stephen Vogt knows it. The front office knows it. That bullpen's going to be just fine, I think. It's concerning. It's worrisome, but I think they will fix it. But the starters have been spectacular as usual. I mean, they just have been. It's just I looked last night, and they were second in baseball in ERA. And that was, last night, right around the time the game was over. So let's take a look and see what the team ERA is now for the Guardians. They are, the team ERA is the important thing, but they lead they do lead Major League Baseball in strikeouts. The Guardians, the team ERA is 3.91 right now, so that's not great. That's probably, I would think, middle of the pack. That's 12th. But the ERA for the starters is, that's been phenomenal, right? I mean, we can't really complain much when the starters have been unbelievable, really. And the ERA for the starters, they are 4th in baseball with a 3.10 ERA. And that's really good. It went up a little today. I believe yesterday it was under 3. So it did go up a little bit today. I think, I would have to think the bullpen ERA went down. I am really having trouble finding the splits here in the statistics. Normally I find them very easily, but today I'm having trouble. I think that like I said, the bullpen I think will get better. After today, the bullpen ERA, it's 24th in baseball, but it did go down. It's 5.21. So I think that's really good. That the bullpen looked good 2 days in a row. Obviously, it looked terrible on Friday and has had some other issues. But as I said, Slade Ciccone is the only inconsistent starter right now. I'm not going to sit here and use all kinds of crazy statistics like some people do. I mean, I also don't carry a radar gun with me into a game that doesn't have batteries, just so I can look important either. But let me move forward. The Guardians are 8th in Major League Baseball with 25 home runs. When is the last time you remember the Cleveland Guardians being 8th in home runs in baseball? Let's be honest. If you're under 20, it may have never happened in your lifetime. So they're 8th in home runs. They are 12 behind the high payroll Los Angeles Dodgers. We have 37. Last season, they finished 20th in home runs with 168. They are on pace. They are on pace to hit around 180 this year. So that's an improvement. The Guardians are also 17th in baseball in runs scored. Last year, they were 28th. So that's another positive sign. Here we're going to give some information. We got a lot of people out there who are still mad. It's really ridiculous. That were mad and are still mad. And they still idolize Francisco Lindor. Yeah. Well, let me give you some information on Frankie. Okay. Him and his Mets lost their 11th game in a row today. They are 7-15. They have the third highest payroll in baseball. They have the worst record in baseball. Frankie is hitting .205 with one RBI. One RBI on a solo home run. And he's on pace to strike out 132 times. The Guardians' current shortstop, Brian Rocchio, is hitting 49 points higher than Big Money Lindor at 254. He has 3 home runs and 14 RBI, and he's been getting RBI when they matter. And he's on pace to strike out only 66 times. So are you still mad they traded him? If you are a person who just enjoys complaining. Let's get back to our Guardians. This past week, they went 4-3. As I said at the top, that's what I predicted. I said 4-3 for the week. This is our 4th show. It's the first time I was right this year, so my track record is not good. But I'm glad it was on a positive when I said a positive record, unlike other weeks where I've said a negative record and they've made me look stupid. So on Monday, they beat St. Louis, the Cardinals in St. Louis. Gavin Williams got the win. He was 2-1 at that point. Pitched 5 2/3 inning. He struck out 4 and he walked 2. Gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs. Both runs were earned. Quan, Schneemann, and Rocchio each had 2 RBI in that contest. Angel Martinez hit a solo home run, and Brian Rocchio hit a 2-run home run. What I've known, Rocchio doesn't hit solos. He's always hitting them with guys on base. So Tuesday, the Cardinals won 6-5 on a walk-off in 10 innings. Tim Herron took the loss and fell to 0-1. but that was an error by Juan Brito. The game would have been over, and they ended up losing. But I think people on social media are way too hard on Brito. At that point, I think he had been up 8 days. 8 days he'd been in the big leagues. Forward ahead to today, he's been in the big leagues, 13 days? He had another error today, a bad error today. But, these things are, people were calling for him for 2 years to be called up. Maybe this was the reason the Guardians hadn't called him up, his defense. But they really had to call him up this time. I know people will whine and cry and say, oh, bring up Travis Bazzana. Send him down. Well, how do we know Bazzana's going to hit? You know what I mean? Is his defense elite? I don't know. So that was Tuesday. They lost that one on 6-5 on a walk-off. And then Wednesday, St. Louis won 5-3. Slade Ciccone's line did not look bad on Wednesday, but to me, the problem is he threw 87 pitches in 4 innings and had to leave the game. The bullpen has suffered. The bullpen suffered the rest of the week. For Slade Ciccone on Wednesday, he set them up for failure against Baltimore because the bullpen had to cover 5 innings. Because he's stubborn and can't throw a strike. Goes to 3-2 on every hitter. He's got to straighten this out. He has to get better, or he'll single-handedly destroy this bullpen. That was the first time they had lost 2 games in a row, Tuesday and Wednesday. So the good thing is they came home on Thursday to start a 4-game series with Baltimore. And game 1 on Thursday, the Guardians prevailed. Parker Messick gave all of us a thrill. We thought he was going to pitch a perfect game. Or not a perfect game, a no-hitter. He went 8 innings and then gave up a hit to Leody Taveras on the first pitch of the 9th inning. He ended up giving up 2 runs in the game, gave up 2 hits, and then got, left for a reliever. Guardians held on to win 4-2. He is 3-0 with a 1.05 earned run average. Juan Brito probably saved the game by making a nice play. But people will forget about that. He made 2 great plays in that game. Friday was another bullpen collapse. It was a complete collapse by the bullpen. The Orioles won 6-4. The Guardians were winning 4-0 after 7 innings, after Daniel Schneemann hit a grand slam. He never hits a home run when it isn't an important time. There was no score in the game. Put them up 4-0. You'd think, oh, here we go. We'll win this game. Tanner Bybee pitched 6 scoreless innings. He only gave up 4 hits. He struck out 5 and issued 3 walks. Then the bullpen came in and collapsed. Sean Armstrong, Eric Sabrowski, Connor Brogdon. It wasn't good. Armstrong has not been good. I'm wondering if he's finished. I hate to say that about anyone. I mean, I covered Sean when he was at Low A Lake County years ago. But I'm beginning to wonder. Eric Sabrowski took the loss and fell to 0-1. Connor Brogdon blew the save. And that was his first blown save of the year. So, that was not good Friday night. I was involved in a high school baseball game at that point, and I I'm not going to give details, but we were struggling. At the same time, the Guardians blew the game too. So wasn't good. Baseball was not good right at that time for me. But the Guardians bounced back on Saturday and won 4-2. Gavin Williams gave up 1 run in 7 innings. He went 7. So he helped the bullpen where Ciccone 2 days earlier destroyed it. So that was good. He went 7 innings. He struck out 11, including humiliating Pete Alonso 3 times. Alonso struck out 4 times in the game and looked completely clueless. And that was fun to see because Pete ran for the money this year. The Mets deserve him leaving because, you know, how their New York fans are and that organization too. But I'm not a fan of Pete Alonso. Brian Rocchio hit his 3rd home run of the year. Saturday night, it was a 2-run shot. Bo Naylor, he hit his 1st home run of the year. I still haven't given up on Bo. I still think he can have a good year. Cade Smith picked up his 5th save on Saturday. So there's they got back on track. And then today they won their 2nd game in a row. They held on to beat the Orioles 8-4, winning the series 3-1. Jose had 2 home runs. He now has 6 on the season and 227 in his career. He passed the immortal Earl Averill for 2nd on the Guardians' all-time list. He is 110 behind Jim Thome. So Joey Cantillo pitched well until the 5th, and then he gave up 4 runs, but should have been out of it, giving up 3. Brito, as I said, had another bad error it was one of the worst throws I've ever seen to first base by a second baseman. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a throw that bad by a second baseman at the high school level. It was really bad. But he did have a 2-run double in the Guardians' 4-run 4th inning. So I guess he just was given back a little. I don't know. But he's going to play. If he's going to play bad defense, he better hit about 400 and have 50 doubles and 35 home runs because his defense has been bad. But hopefully it'll get better. I know they're not going to give up on him. They're going to work with him to make him better. That's what they do. That's what they do. We've seen guys that have been awful, and they've worked with them, and they've been better. Look at Brian Rocchio. You know, he gets sent down last year in the middle of the year. I think he spent a month at Columbus, comes back up, and he's been completely different since. He just seems more confident now. And so maybe the same thing will happen with Brito. The defense is bad, though. But Joey Cantillo did get the win today. Now let's go over the upcoming week. Houston comes to town for 3 games beginning tomorrow. The Astros are in last place in the American League West. And they are 8-15. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They have a run differential of -19. So they have not said who any of their starting pitchers would be. But the Guardians have announced Slade Ciccone tomorrow, Tuesday Parker Messick, and Wednesday Tanner Bybee. Game times, 6:10 on tomorrow, 6:10 on Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoon at 1:10. Then they finally have an off day on Friday before heading north of the border to Toronto. The Blue Jays are not doing much better than the Astros, they are 8-13. They are tied for last place in the American League East. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and they have a run differential of -26. This is a team that was in the World Series last year, but it is still very early. I project in that series. I can't see anything changing, but Friday night should be Gavin Williams. Saturday should be Joey Cantillo, and then Sunday should be Slade Ciccone. Toronto also has not announced their starters for those games. You wouldn't really expect them to. They've had some real pitching injuries. So if the Guardians can go in there and get them while they're having trouble, hey, nobody's going to feel bad for the Guardians if they were having trouble, and why should the Guardians feel bad for anybody else if they're having issues? So I think, so there's 6 games this week, right? Against 2 bad teams, right? So you would think, they could go on a real win streak here. Well, they could. But I'm going to say they go 4-2 this week. I don't think they'll sweep either of them. But I'm going to say the Guardians will go 4-2 this week. Hopefully I'm right, or hopefully I'm wrong and they go like 5-1 or 6-0. But I'm going to go 4-2. I'm going to say 4-2 for this week. And when we meet back here next week, hopefully, they have a solid week. They're 3 games over 500 now. You just got to keep building on that. They've lost 1 series this year. 1 series to St. Louis. That's it. So, and as we said, we know they had a very tough schedule the first 4 series of the year. So, I'm going to say 4-2 for the week. But I think that's it for tonight. It was good going over this past week and previewing next week. And hey, they're still in first place. I know it's early, but hey, maybe next week, if they're still in first place, we'll give a magic number. So until next Sunday, I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you later.